Hey everyone, Jennifer here. Today I am in a parking garage and we are talking about how to get clients and build your clientele up when you're just starting out in photography and videography. Before we get really started here, I do want to preface this by saying that I decided to make this video based on a comment that somebody made on my last video about how to get clients. I'm not flooded with clients, but as I started thinking about it, I realized that what loyal clients I do have and the people that I have brought on are extremely loyal, and I've worked really hard to get those clients and to keep those clients. So I definitely think that the quality of the client and the quality of the work you do for the client is a lot more important than the quantity. You know, obviously I don't want to sit here and act like I'm the coolest photographer in the world, but I do have some ideas that worked for me, and I think that some of them could probably work for you and might be something that you haven't actually heard yet on YouTube. So I'm not really talking about sort of the things that every YouTuber talks about. So hopefully this will be helpful. Okay, so no joke, this guy starts weed whacking. I'm in a massive parking garage. He starts weed whacking on the ground the second that I start hitting record. You know what's one of the things that I don't think I've ever heard someone on YouTube say, and it's something that you've likely heard elsewhere in your life, is that you need to know somebody. Like, there's so many skills involved in learning photography and learning business and everything that goes with being successful in this field. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, once you know somebody, that is going to be the single most important part to your success getting started. You've got to know somebody. You can obviously work hard and get there, but it's going to take you so much longer if you don't know someone. And what I mean by knowing somebody doesn't have to be somebody famous, doesn't have to be somebody in the biz, but it needs to be someone who can help you. So in my case, I actually got a lot of clients and a ton of referrals from just the single first client that I got from my best friend. She has a massive network of people, you know, thousands of Facebook friends and things like that. And she's got a network in different places in life, like veterans and, from her job. Just, she's been all over the world, things like that. So she knows a lot of different people and she's a really good person. So she is a great asset to me in getting me those very first couple clients that snowballed into a million other clients. Not a million, but several other clients. You've probably heard this one before, but I think that people are looking for the easy and the short way out, and it just doesn't exist. So the second most important thing is going to be finding a mentor, which actually I guess still counts as knowing somebody. So I actually went to college for 3 years for video production, which is where I learned a lot of the essential skills that you might be learning on YouTube. That was not really the most important part to how I started to find some success. It was definitely a big piece, but more importantly was my mentor, which would be one of my professors who believed in me and really gave me the drive to do better and to work way harder to make better videos. And then after that, he realized how good of a photographer I was because I had been shooting for so many years previously. But it wasn't until I got to that point where I actually felt like I was creating something actually good. And once he saw my growth, now that I'm out of school, he actually gets me odd jobs all the time. He calls me whenever he needs a photographer, and he's introduced me to a lot of clients. And that is a huge, like the most important piece. Now, I'm not saying that I think you need to go to college. Maybe you want to go to college, but if you're on YouTube, I'm guessing you don't. But there's other ways to find mentors. I think that there is a lot to be said for Patreon and things like that people are running that are giving you a lot more than what you're getting free on YouTube. And some of those people are offering really good stuff. Like take Sam Hurd, for instance. If you are a patron of his and you pay for his highest tier, I don't remember exactly how much it is, but it's maybe like $2,300. That's a huge amount of money. But did you know that if you pledge that tier even for 1 month, you can actually shadow him and second shoot for him at any of his weddings, which is like highly worth more than $2,500 or whatever it is, if you ask me, because now you have a mentor, and I bet you would learn more in that one day than you will in a year trying to do this by yourself, or even more. You're gonna find the tricks, and he's going to be honest with you, and it doesn't have to be Sam Hurd, but this is a way that you can learn more. And these creators are working hard to make this stuff and to help other people succeed. It's not gonna be free. Like, a lot of good stuff is free on YouTube, but I think it's worth looking into some of these creators. I actually pay a lot of creators, several I should say, at least a handful of creators, for some of their Patreon stuff and different things that they offer for education. It's made a huge difference in what I do. You've probably heard that it's really important that clients trust you. It's literally the most important thing. That's why it's so hard to book people when they don't know who you are. It's best, or easiest maybe, to find clients that are a friend or a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend even, because you already have that link of trust. And once you have that first client, however you got it, you have to make sure that they trust you through the end, right? So that means doing the exact job that you were hired for, and probably over-delivering. And what do I mean by over-delivering? Well, that means giving them more than they bargained for, whether that's more images, or if you're a wedding shooter and you're doing photo, maybe that's a highlight film. It doesn't have to be a 5-minute highlight film, but maybe it's a 30-second reel or something like that they can post online, that you say, hey, I made this for you, by the way, just to get your skills out there and to show more stuff and to over-deliver to the client. It could be anything that you can come up with that gives value back to the client, that will help build that trust, so that when they do send that referral out, they're gonna be like, wow, I had this photographer and they went way above and beyond. The other ways you can go above and beyond is, especially in the wedding space, is being prepared at a wedding for things that they're not expecting that you know are gonna happen. I could go on for days about this, but a couple of examples could be like having water on hand for the bride, having like a multi-tool to cut things. Like the last wedding I did, I was about to take portraits of the bride, and then I noticed she had her Apple Watch and like a bunch of like bracelets and stuff on her arm, and she was in her full gown, and I was like, whoa, you need to take those off. And then as I got a little closer to her, she was like, oh my God. And then she realized that's huge, like that's nothing, but like imagine I didn't say that. And then I got closer to her and realized that she had this huge thread in the front of her dress, which I could have photoshopped out, but I just grabbed my multi-tool out, snip, done. And I'm sure that made some sort of an impact. Stuff like that, those are small things that can help build trust and show that you're not just there to make a dollar, you're there to serve the client. Again, this is another one that sounds obvious, but people just don't actually sit and think about this. It's so important. You need to be nice. You have to be nice. I mean really nice. You need to be your authentic self, but you've got to be nice. Something I also learned in school, and you'd think, yeah, obviously you have to be nice, but I learned working with so many people, and mostly young people. There was a couple people in their 30s like myself who were kind of going back to do something or whatever. Story for a different day. But there was a lot of young people, and I learned quickly what it's like to work with people that aren't friendly and aren't nice and aren't hard workers. And there was some great people that I worked with, but not all of them. Sitting next to a brewery. Bottom line is, nobody wants to work with an asshole. I mean, they just don't. Other people won't want to work with you, won't want to work for you, and your clients are not going to refer you if you are not super nice. Just plain and simple. I have a few more things that are a little less of what you might think about, but things that have happened to me, and they may seem circumstantial to you, but I can assure you that if you do these things with intention, this is the type of stuff that can kickstart, especially if you've had no clients ever. This might be a couple good things you can do. So go to public events, especially outside in the summer when it's nice. Go out and start shooting. Look on Facebook or wherever your town or city posts things. Go to events with your gear and shoot. Shoot pictures, shoot video. People will walk up to you. It happens to me all the time when I'm not even at an event, I'm just downtown in a bustling area doing my thing, going into the shops. Last couple weekends ago, I was downtown and I went into a bakery and I got some pastries and some lunch, and the cashier was like inquiring about my stuff to the point where she ended up wanting my card and she wanted to see my YouTube channel, which was awesome. And then I sat down in the patio and someone approached me and talking about my camera and asking me questions about the camera. And those are community interactions. And even if nothing ever comes of that, even if she never goes to my YouTube channel, just talk to people. That is the key. And it's not networking. It's just, I'm just walking around doing my thing. And people see that and they like that because not everybody's out there doing that. And that's a really good place to start. I've actually had quite a bit of success with this, and it wasn't something that I had to do anything in the front end. And that's when somebody that is your friend on Facebook tags you in a post that somebody else posted that says, hey guys, I'm looking for a photographer or a videographer, like drop links basically, do you have any recommendations? And then one of your friends tags you or your page. So there's gonna be a ton of them. There's gonna be 10, 20, whatever, probably links that people are sending, and everyone's gonna try to sell that photographer. Or maybe they'll just put your name. Email them or message them immediately and sell yourself, because that's a client that basically was just handed to you. And maybe it's not your ideal client, but if you're just starting out, get that job, email them. I actually have a wedding coming up next weekend that is the daughter of a friend of an ex, which sounds crazy, but that's neither here nor there. Point is, these are people I haven't seen in 15 years, right? But somebody tagged me in a post and I went straight to her and I sold myself and I booked my top package actually. She booked my top package. So don't underestimate those people that are reaching out in that way. If it doesn't work out, that's fine, but get on there and sell yourself. Get on the call, get it done. This is another kind of thing that might work or not, depending what your network looks like. So I posted a story on either Instagram or Facebook or something a couple years ago about wanting a senior for a model for senior portraits. And people that do senior portraits a lot, can be a common thing. They look for models every year, and this person usually takes on the role of the photographer takes their photos for free or highly discounted, and then they sell that photographer to like their friends and stuff like that. I don't put any sort of pressure into anything like that, so that's not where I'm going with this. But what I did was I got a response from somebody who said, hey, my friend could really use the help or whatever. So I started talking to the friend, and I took her daughter out. I did her senior portraits. I met the mother. I met her boyfriend, the daughter's boyfriend, you know, a bunch of friends, and her little brother was there. We had a really good time, and she was great for my portfolio. And I have booked since 3 other sessions, one being a wedding, from the mother, paid. And I've also booked a paid session from the mother's sister. And now these people are more like my friends. This might not be the approach that every person wants to take. You might be like, I can't get in that deep. And that's fine, but it's just kind of my personality. And I tend to feel better if I feel like I know the person. Like, I'm gonna go to that wedding in a few months and I'm gonna know so many people there. And that is huge. The connections that will be made, the trust is there. A lot of people have probably already seen my work. This is how you're getting those lifelong clients that are going to sustain you. And if you can build that with just a few people, that is really, really huge. And it's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment. It is, but it's through being nice and being genuine. I don't talk to these people and go anywhere with these people and comment on their Facebook posts to try to get their money. I do it because I genuinely care. So that's something that you need to look inside yourself deeply and say, you know, especially if you're doing weddings, it depends what you're doing, but I'm working with people, kids, weddings. You have to care about the people. You have to, or else you cannot be successful, and that's not fair to the client. I'm gonna circle back a little bit to when I was talking about my professor. His name is Corey, and I said earlier that he's booked me a bunch of things over the last few years. So this past winter, he asked me if I could come and do stills for a winter carnival that was happening in a city near me while he was doing video. And again, their trust is there because this company works with him for video. He's a videographer, cinematographer, all the time, doing tons of huge things. So the trust was already there, and I said, yes, of course, I'll come out and do that. They ended up being so happy with my work, which we delivered like the next day. We got it out really fast because the carnival was going on for several weekends and they wanted to build the buzz, that they hired me to shoot the next weekend without him. And I actually had the opportunity to shoot Scotty McCreery, which is a pretty successful country artist. I'm not a country fan, but let me tell you what, after a whole pandemic with no concerts, and I am a humongous concert goer, I go to dozens and dozens of shows every year. This was such an amazing experience for me, and I got paid to do it, and I got to get banger photos of an artist with hundreds of screaming fans, and it was such a fulfilling experience for me, and I would have never been able to do that if I never met him. 90% of my clients come from referrals. Clients they'll never just find you. It's difficult to understand that sometimes. I think a lot of us get stuck in that. I'm just gonna sit here and they're gonna come, and that's not the case. I believe the road to success is not by posting on Instagram every day and creating reels. I think that you'll get followers, but the real secret to success is by getting out in your own community where there are real people, the people near you that will pay you to document their lives. When you're out there, tag establishments, give people value, give them something, offer them something, meet people, expect absolutely nothing in return, and be grateful when something comes your way. And then you start from the top again, nail the job, be nice, over deliver, and that's how the ball gets rolling. Don't fill your mind with all the millions of ideas on YouTube. Get off YouTube, get out there, and start hanging out where your clients hang out. And book those clients, y'all. That's it. Peace. I never film outside. It's just too much. I like to stay in my studio, and I forgot the effing micro SD for my lavalier. So I attached it to my camera. It's just on the camera. It's probably gonna sound bad. We're gonna find out. Oh, and by the way, if you've been following along with my last couple of videos, this is the Canon R6, and this is my absolute first video using the Canon R6 in 4K. So I'm kind of excited to see what it looks like. I actually completely forgot my ND. Right now we're looking all right, but I was kind of disappointed. I'm like, I guess we're shooting in the shade. It's fine. Nobody cares, right?